Alright, welcome back to another turn of Operation Tirpitz. This is going to be turn 12, January 1942 for the Italians. Before we get into it, got a few items of housekeeping. First, the two CDSs and two destroyers from the British fleet in A-20 are moving into A-21 and blockading the German ships in port there. Additionally, the Anzac transport plane from the North Island of New Zealand is flying to Sydney, picking up an airborne, and then flying to Western Australia and landing. And infantry from South Australia is moving to Western Australia as well. And I believe there's one more item of housekeeping. Yes. The builds in Cape Town were subject to an interdiction rule for the supplies to build those units from Great Britain. There's no path available from Great Britain to Cape Town that doesn't pass these 4 submarines. We've rolled both of those interdiction rolls off screen using the Dice Maiden bot, and both of those units were destroyed. Alright, let's get straight into it. I rolled the tech off screen using the Dice Maiden bot once again, and got a miss of 1 on advanced artillery for the Italians. For the buys, I'm declaring 2 airborne for 3 IPPs each, and 2 infantry for 3 each. And for the remaining bank, I'm buying a submarine base for 3, leaving 1 left. Alright, for the combat moves, from northern Italy, the Strat bomber is flying to Suez and strat bombing the dockyard that holds the British fleet. Joining it from Tobruk will be 2 fighters in escort. Also, the remainder of my Tobruk Air Force, including the seaplane, the fighter, both tactical bombers, and the medium bomber, are attacking the dock, doing a port raid in the dockyard in Suez after the port bombing. And that is the entirety of my combat moves declared, so let's just get straight into it. First, there will be an interception round of combat. I've spoken with Seb Scullion. All 3 fighters in Lower Egypt are participating in the interception of the Strat Bomber. So, we have, for the attackers, 1 die at 1, 2 die at 3. The French have a die at 3, and the British have 2 die at 4. So let's go ahead and roll for the interception. 1 hit for the Germans, or for the Italians, and no hits for the Allies. That hit is going to be taken on the French fighter, I'm sure. Okay. And the bomber does get through to the port. So let's roll for the damage on the port. Max damage, that's 5. And at this time, Subscullion has the option to eject 3 ships from port in Suez into M8. He has elected not to do that. Alright, let's roll for the anti-aircraft roll on the facility, and let's see if my strategic bomber makes it back home. It does make it back home. Alright, so let's do the port raid. I have 1 fighter, 2 tactical bombers, and a medium bomber rolling against no defensive die. So a fighter, 2 tactical bombers, and a medium bomber. And I got 2 hits, no target select. That hit is going to be taken on a light cruiser first and a heavy cruiser next. In the past, Subscullion has mentioned a preference for killing FEC units before GB units, so I'll do that. There are 2 GB heavy cruisers, 1 GB battle cruiser, 1 damaged GB battleship, and 1 damaged FEC battleship, as well as 2 transports left in port in Suez. That's the combat movement finished, so let's go ahead and do non-combat movements. To begin with, all of my aircraft from Suez, including both the port raid and the strat bombing of the port, are flying to Tobruk. Next, 2 coastal submarines from M8 did not participate in the screening combat in M8, are moving into M4. From Gibraltar, the transport is moving into M3, picking up 2 infantry, and moving back to Gibraltar. From northern Italy, 1 transport plane is picking up a mountain infantry and flying to Eritrea. And the remaining 2 transport planes are picking up airborne and flying to Tobruk. And that should be the entirety of my non-combat movements declared as well. And there. Okay. So I believe now, after all the non-combats, we just have to place units and collect income. All of the units that are being built are mandatorily placed in northern Italy. I have no other factories. So that's both airborne and both infantry. The sub-pen is being built in Gibraltar. Also, during the placement phase, I'm declaring that the Italian transport that was used to pick up the infantry from northern Italy and take them back to Gibraltar is going back into port in Gibraltar. And now collecting income. My income is at 13 plus 4 for wartime bonuses. And I saved 1, bringing me to 18 total for next turn. And now, I suppose I can pass the board off to Deathodist for the American and KMT turn. Best of luck to him.